This is Envision Self-Healing Podcast, episode number 32. Hi, I'm Will Fuller.
And I'm Richard Miller.
And we are the co-creators of EnvisionSelfHealing.com and are dedicated in helping you improve your eyesight and quality of life
by taking healing into your own hands. The topic of the week this week is Understanding a Holistic Approach to Natural Vision Improvement, Part 4, The Body. And in the second half of the podcast, we're answering a question from actually a visitor to San Francisco who has just discovered eye exercises and contacted Will and said, what do I do next?
So Richard, how's the world of self-healing been treating you this week?
Well, it's been an exciting week for me because I took off and went down to Redlands, California for a 5-day Gerson therapy training.
Nice.
Yeah, it was extremely exciting for me. It was basically how to live your life on a very restricted, well, it's not that restricted. It depends on your perspective. It was a bit of a shock for me, being a meat eater.
Right.
A vegan diet, essentially. And in the Gerson philosophy, which is, the Gerson therapy was invented actually to deal with migraines originally.
Okay.
Then it was found to work on TB. And finally, it's been really known for working mostly on cancer patients. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And people are recovering. It's sort of a big secret in the medical establishment. In fact, they've been kind of banned from practicing their therapy on cancer patients in the United States.
It's illegal.
It's illegal,
Which
yeah.
is why they're the only place you can get treated. I think one is in Mexico and
right, and one is in Hungary.
Yeah, they're starting to pop up around the rest of the world where they're not.
Right,
where it's not illegal.
Right, and in this country, in the United States, we have centers doing Gerson therapy, but they are billed as longevity. And it's true. The philosophy behind curing cancer is still beneficial for every other aspect of your life.
Yeah,
and it's very good for prolonging your life as well.
Yeah.
So those were two things. I was looking at it for the cancer things, not for myself, or for someone else as well. Mm-hmm. And but it was very enlightening. It's a lot. They showed a lot of films that you've been telling me about as well.
Okay. Yeah, we should definitely try and post some of those at some point.
Yeah.
I think what we'll do is we'll do a whole podcast at some point.
On movies, yeah.
Once we, maybe on the Gerson therapy.
Right.
Once we get all our notes together.
Yeah. Well, the one that I found the most convincing was the one you've seen as well, called Knives or Forks Over Knives.
Oh, Forks Over Knives.
Yes.
Yeah. I
don't do it the other way around. Yeah. And I was educated. It was a little depressing. Number one, like the quality of meat that we're eating.
Yeah.
Basically, it comes down to eat only free range anything.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because this weekend we hosted a barbecue. It was
right.
my fiance's birthday, and and
and
it was so funny because we don't eat meat,
right?
And we were buying all this meat for everyone else,
right?
And it cost us a fortune. People say organic food's expensive.
I know.
Try and buy a pack of sausages, or some minced beef. Yeah. But it's funny because people always say, "Oh, we thought you were vegetarian," and it's funny because we're not vegetarian, but it's just throughout the years and the more we've learned about the quality of meat and all the rest of it, it's just become a life choice. We just choose vegetables instead of. We didn't wake up one day and go, "Do you know what? We're going to be vegetarian." So there was no sort of definitive moment.
Yeah.
It just happened that way.
Right.
And it's interesting that it's the same sort of thing. I came to it naturally. Mm-hmm. But now they're doing a lot more of these documentaries and stuff. And
right, they're very good documentaries out there now on the whole food industry. I mean, just to summarize in some ways that the meat, if you think of it this way, it was true for pigs, it was true for cows, that basically the diet we feed them on eventually kills them. On their own. They don't have to be slaughtered. They will die of heart attacks.
That true?
It's
wow.
Absolutely, this is what, that a cow, they know when to slaughter a cow They have to time it precisely because they wait too long, it'll die from the corn diet it's being fed.
Wow.
To marble the meat. It will just die, and then it'll be too late. So they have to know, okay, on Tuesday this cow dies because he'll die on Wednesday.
Wow.
And then the pigs, I guess a percentage of them die of heart attacks before they can be slaughtered.
That's really ironic.
and pigs aren't alive that long. You know, it's like a matter of, I'm not sure they're alive more than a year.
So the pigs die of a heart attack, and then the people that eat them die of a heart attack.
Exactly. But we got them fattened up, so because they taste so good that way.
They do. They
do. That was the thing that got me the most, was that those two things, the pigs and the cows dying of diseases from just their diet.
Yeah.
So that was convincing. And the other convincing thing is they fed me delicious food.
Yeah.
Better than I could ever cook with meat.
Yeah.
And the quality, and we talked about this in our podcast on organic food, the quality of the vegetables was so good. And for the Gerson therapy, you avoid salt. This is for the cancer part of it. Because Gerson found that people ate, if cancer patients ate a lot of salt, it actually encouraged the tumor growth.
Oh, okay.
Again, not accepted anywhere in the medical establishment, but Gerson, the thing about Gerson was he doesn't have research. Everybody wants research. He had practical experience of he developed the diet, he brought it to a bunch of cancer patients and said, wow, these people are getting better, these people aren't. It was like research on the fly.
Yeah, what more evidence do you need? And I think he even went to court originally. They wanted proof.
Right.
Not necessarily court, but the lobbyists or somebody wanted proof.
Right,
and
probably the AMA.
He took 10 cancer patients, I think 10 with him, and they all testified that they had cancer and now they didn't. Right. And he also had 10 testimonials of other people as well. And they still threw him out.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing story.
And that was when he wrote his book, wasn't it? The 50... What's it called?
Oh, yeah, the 50 patients or something like that. 50 cases,
yeah.
I think it's 52. I can't remember. Yeah, somewhere in there.
So we did release a lot of his notes. And
yeah. And yet the therapy is still banned by the FDA, and they have to practice in Tijuana. It's just amazing to me.
Yeah.
So anyway, I had a wonderful week of being enlightened by what meat. And then basically the other message was you really don't need meat, and that meat gives you almost nothing other than protein.
Right. And
there's some B vitamins and stuff, but you can get them in other ways. So,
yeah. Just through supplements, the B vitamins, or were they actually?
They do give a B12 supplement. Mm-hmm. They do take a B12 supplement, but in general, they also say you get a lot of that from other sources as well. Okay. So, yeah. Nice. And they do a niacin supplement as well. So,
and how did you notice your vision?
Oh, right. By the end of the week.
Me.
Right. I was so excited about the whole concept. It was like, what was it there for? And the quality of the food. Well, and then they feed you this food, and they're juicing and giving you juice every hour from 8 in the morning until 6 at night. So one an hour, they're feeding you an organic juice. That was pretty nice.
How did you sleep?
Pretty well. In the middle of this, my mother doesn't have a computer, so she won't hear this, but she came down with a clot in her leg in the middle of the week. I almost had to leave.
Right.
That went from her ankle to her hip. And here I am learning about the horrors of meat consumption and dairy consumption, and I get this phone call of like, okay, you can see where this is leading. It was right in the middle of one of those movies of telling you how horrible meat was, and I get this call. Anyway, why did I bring this up? What was the question again?
How did you sleep?
Oh, so I didn't sleep that well because I was talking to her and my siblings and all that stuff.
What about headaches?
No, and yes, no headaches, no allergy symptoms.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And I felt like my mind was clearer.
I could imagine.
Yeah, less driven feeling, which is...
And did you feel less fatigued?
I did. So much was going on with my family at the same time, that sort of thing. But, so there was a bit of stress. How do I say this? I was amazingly alert.
Okay.
And I anticipated feeling worn out and unable to think and dragged down because I wasn't eating meat, and it wasn't true at all.
Right.
I was doing coffee enemas. 3 times a day as well. So
excellent. That gets you going.
It kept me going a little bit anyway.
But not as much as drinking the coffee, right?
No. They actually do the enemas for to absorb 2 other chemicals, which the names escape me at the moment. They're 2 long chemical names. Both of which, one of them's a fairly good painkiller.
Okay.
So it's actually, they recommend it for pain relief.
Okay. Hence the migraines, and I think also people have arthritis and stuff, and they've got the initial pains.
All right, now we're not recommending this, so don't take it.
So
I'm just talking about my week right now. So anyway, and the other chemical opens up the bile ducts in your liver, and that's the detoxifying effect of the coffee enema. It has nothing to do with the caffeine, actually. So, but you do need the caffeine. You can't do a decaffeinated enema, right? And it has to be organic.
So, and what about the vision then?
Oh, right. So by maybe day 3, I was starting to be able to. My biggest judge is how easily I can read. So I was reading. I was having to fill out an intake form, medical history kind of thing. And I'm like, whoa, I can read, and it was type smaller than I'm comfortable with.
Wow.
And I was able to read it fairly easily, so I knew immediately that my vision had improved a bit. And I was so busy. Thank God my family kept me so busy I had no time to do the eye exercises. It was a clean test of just the diet alone.
Right. So it was the nutrition that really helped clear your vision.
Because every free moment I was on my phone talking to some sibling or mother or something. So anyway.
Well, fantastic. Well,
it was exciting.
Let's see how you're getting on next week.
Yeah.
See if you can keep it up.
So how was your week?
Yeah, really good. As you were away, I thought I would try and do a little bit of a retreat myself.
Oh, yeah.
And I was getting up at 5:30 in the morning.
Whoa.
Doing my juicing. And I was spending 2 to 3 hours in the morning on practicing the new eye exercise that I've been playing with, the peripheral meditation. And trying to work a lot more in the periphery and trying to go for walks and trying to maintain the periphery whilst using my central vision as well. And it's pretty amazing. I'm sort of just progressing forward in it still, and it's still difficult. It's still having to spend time in what you don't want to spend time in, having to spend time in going blind, which is not something that anyone wants to spend time in.
Right.
So spending time in that peripheral area. I noticed at one point there was almost like an outer circle that I hadn't seen before. And I noticed I could access outside that circle.
Oh.
I don't know whether that makes any sense.
It's
It's difficult to explain.
Yeah.
So I noticed that when I first sit down to do the peripheral meditation, I don't see that circle. I just have the fuzzy periphery.
The static.
And it takes me a good 10-15 minutes where I have to sit and really concentrate in the periphery, and I feel my mind start to engage with the periphery. I start noticing sort of more objects I have to engage, add more detail. I have to wait for my thoughts to quiet down.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because they're thinking about, new ideas and clients and other exercises and, all the rest of it. So I really have to wait. I have to sit there and engage the mind with the periphery first. And then once I've done that, I've been playing with activities to then stimulate the periphery more and get it active and try and look beyond that circle. So I noticed for the first time, actually, I understood color coordinating a room.
That makes total sense, because you would never see the whole room before.
You picked up on that real quick. I was sitting looking in the dining room, and I was looking at the door, and I couldn't see the bottom of the door. It was just a white fuzz. So I was going through the sort of new process that I've been building on to try and tune into whatever it is that I want to be aware of. And this fuzziness sort of went away, and I sort of saw the bottom of the door, and then I saw the red of the carpet. And I thought, wow, that's a really nice red color to go with that white door.
Yeah.
And then I was able to see the table, which is sort of a brown color, and then next to that is sort of a black shelving unit, like a tall black shelving unit.
Yeah, I know it.
And I just thought, that looks fantastic. I was like, I really like the way the red goes with the black and the white. And I was just like, I really want to hang up. And all of a sudden, I would start planning.
You know what kind of art goes on the wall.
Yeah. I wanted to start planning color coordination. Then all of a sudden, I was like, well, now I want this in this room, and I want this. And it was just amazing that I had never thought of that before. Yeah. You know, but you've always asked me, you know, so what colours do you think should be in this room? And
well, you have better colour vision than me. Yeah,
exactly. But I've got no concept. We really are the what and where, aren't we?
We are, aren't we?
So anyway, that in itself, I mean, no vision test could ever come up with that. You know, if I sat in a peripheral field test, a doctor would go, "You're not seeing anything more." But the fact that I finally, after 28, 29 years, have understood colour scheming a room, because it's the first time I ever saw a group of furniture together.
Don't change your career to being a decorator.
No.
I think it's a little beyond it.
But I think it was probably, I mean, obviously, if I take a picture of a room, I guess you could argue that I could see the room. Or
but you wouldn't have the experience to base it on, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it was just the fact that it was a surprise.
Yeah.
It sort of caught me off guard. I was like, "Oh, a red carpet with a black shelf with a white door."
Oh, that's terrific.
And I've been in that place for a month, nearly 2 months now. So that was real evidence to me that it was progressing. Although I must say, today I was walking to see some clients, and I'm building more and more confidence with walking with my head up.
Right.
And before, I would look down at the pavement, look up, and then step up. And now I'm working with just stepping up. Again, I'm not recommending anyone do this. This is just me.
No enemas, no, not looking down, please.
Yeah, and certainly not at the same time. And anyway, it's scorching hot here in San Francisco. Right? It's in the hundreds, and in the 90s at least. And so I went to look down. I was like, no, keep your head up, keep walking. We're going to keep working this periphery. And I just hear this splash. And somehow a chip of the pavement, a deep bit of the not the pavement, the road, had come away, and it was filled with water. It's like 100 degrees out. There's no water.
There's no water anywhere.
Anywhere, right? It's all residential. It's all concrete. And it reminded me of my friend once at university, and any time we used to go shopping, I would get out of the car, and I would always step in a puddle. And he said, "Will you, no matter where you are, you will find a puddle."
That's the only
to
puddle
step
in San Francisco you
I
have.
know, and I stepped right in it and completely soaked my foot.
Wow.
Anyway, I like those things because
it
just makes me laugh. It's just a little reminder that you've got a little bit more work to go. So I enjoy that thoroughly. But I'm looking forward to seeing how next week just onwards and upwards really just keep progressing.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good time to move on to topic of the week.
And the topic of the week this week is Understanding a Holistic Approach to Natural Vision Improvement, Part 4, the body.
And the first thing we're going to be looking at is muscle tension. And this is a really important part of the body and how it's involved in the whole holistic healing of our vision, because it's really what's restricting our blood flow.
Right. And blood flow is so important to many vision conditions. It's certainly important to mine. To yours as well, maybe a little more indirectly.
Yeah, well, I heard, I think it was Mir Schneider that told me about a guy in Cuba maybe that was doing experimental surgery with RP and was redirecting blood vessels to the retina.
Right.
And that he was getting results that way. I've never seen or heard of it since, but it just, it makes sense.
Yeah, and we're in this point we're addressing the muscles in your body, because the hard, stiff, muscular musculature will restrict your blood flow. And I suppose it also would restrict nerve function to a certain degree too. I mean, if it's extreme anyway.
It's also, people really, we talk a lot about loosening the neck. We talk about muscles of the face, because obviously that's the direct flow. You know, if you're trying to drive from A to B in a car, the quickest way is, you know, on the straight road. And if there's a roadblock, then you want to sort of undo that and get straight to the house. However, we don't tend to think about maybe tight muscles in our legs or in our abdomen or our back.
Right.
And the body, and we're going to talk a lot more about blood flow next week, because that is our topic of the next week. So we won't talk about it too much here. But if you think about it, the blood system, the cardiovascular system, is systemic, and it flows all the way around the body. So if you've got a tight lower back or a tight abdomen, then the whole flow is being restricted.
Right.
So you're getting less blood to the eyes, even if the tension is in your legs.
Right. And in particular, I guess, around the joints, like the hip joints and the shoulder joints, that's where blood can get restricted in those junctures as well.
So in particular, we really suggest heading to the website, really, envisionselfhealing.com, and go to the body section that we talk about. I mean, even if you're doing one of the free programs that we have there on your condition, you'll see that we do split it into vision, body, and mind. And in the body section, we do talk a lot about self-massage.
Right.
So there are some exercises there for you for your particular condition. But if you're just looking in general, then I guess in particular, we're looking at things like the self-massage techniques for the neck and head and eyes, head rotations,
shoulder rotations. Yeah.
And then in particular, my favorite is the tennis balls.
Right. And you can use those on your back and on your legs. I mean, we made the programs, we didn't go to a full body treatment in a lot of those free programs. We didn't think people really would take the time. But we would love you to do rotations throughout your body and tennis balls throughout your body and get a massage once a week. For your vision condition, it would be great for you. But
I do remember one of our Twitter followers contacted us, and she had retinitis pigmentosa, and I told her to follow the exercises, and she messaged me the next day and she said, I'm going out and buying the 3 black pieces of paper. And I was like, great. And the next day she messaged and she said, I've just spent the last 3.5 hours doing the exercises and I just feel amazing.
Yeah.
And she had done all of them. She went through the whole body. Wow. She did all the eye exercises, and it was so great to hear how great she felt. And I mean, and also that she got it just straight from the program.
Right.
Because there really is a stupid amount of information on that website. So much so, actually, that we've had to change servers because
That's true.
Our previous server couldn't handle the website because there's just
and if you're listening now and gave up on our website because it took too long to load, you can go back now. It's lightning fast now.
Yeah, it's safe. It's safe to go back.
Yeah.
So, really just look at those exercises for the muscle tension. Try not to think about it as just tension towards the eyes. Think of it as a whole body. And also, if you have muscle tension, then it means that there's not enough blood getting to that muscle, to that area. So by doing a lot of the massage, you're getting more blood to those muscles again. And it's really just going to help the whole body holistically.
Right.
Hence the title.
Well, another way you can feel how this is helping your vision, it's hard to describe unless you go through the process. But once you've relaxed your whole body, it's hard to see in a not relaxed way. It's hard to see with tension.
Good point.
And that actually will allow you to see better.
So that actually takes us on to our next point, which is posture. And so if you think about it, a lot of us, when we're thinking, and I know in particular you've got the myopic posture in mind, but I know a lot of our clients, when we ask them to do the eye charts, their shoulders raise up, their eyes squint, their tension builds in their eyes.
The jaw sets.
They stop breathing, they stop blinking.
Yeah.
And they're like, and it's just like, relax, blink and breathe.
Yeah.
And then we sort of massage the shoulders a little bit. The person starts breathing again. And they're able to see better in a relaxed way than they are being tense and squinting. And when we do a lot of the I mean, in particular, we do massage at the school, and there's a big emphasis on it for this reason. But even just by yourselves doing the self massage and the tennis balls before the eye exercises, when you're in that state of relaxation, the muscles are relaxed, the mind is a lot more relaxed. When you do go to tense up, you're aware of it.
Yeah.
And a lot of what we talk about here is the worst strain possible is the one you don't know about. So if you don't know that you're raising your shoulders, if you don't know that you're squinting,
most people don't,
because it just becomes habit, right?
Yeah.
We talked before in part 2 when we talked about the brain, how it just adapts so quickly.
Yeah.
So your body gets used to having that tense body.
Yeah.
So that passes over into the looking.
Yeah.
So by relaxing the muscles, then it means that when you're just looking, then at least you're doing a sort of a soft gaze. You're relating it to how the body feels. And I guess a little bit more on what we were saying there about the myopic posture. It's actually, I wouldn't say a condition, but it's a term that we use.
Right. It's the body's reaction to a vision problem, really. And I was thinking this is another reason we emphasize like having good posture when you palm and being feeling the relaxation when you sun. It's like it's all, getting the body to be in alignment, to not put a crink in your neck while you're palming, and to relax, feel the relaxation while you're sunning. It's all about relaxing the body as a way of getting to our relaxed gaze.
So why would you say, if you could explain a little bit more about myopic posture, like what is it about myopia in particular? Why not far-sighted posture or astigmatism posture?
There is a far-sighted posture. We just don't see it as much, which is this. The far-sighted posture is more the rounded chest, so the chest is sticking out and the head is back.
Okay, and why would you do that if you were far-sighted?
I don't understand what the motivation is, but I have myopic posture, so I know it exists. It seems crazy, but if you can't see well, you push your head. If you're nearsighted, you push your head forward
to try and
see better, and you're only pushing it forward like an inch at most, right?
Yeah.
And when you're farsighted, if you move your head, I'm probably reducing the sound as I do this. As you move your head back, again, you're maybe an inch, maybe 2 inches back. What difference does it make?
Yeah.
But maybe it's just when you're looking at close objects, maybe that's when, distant objects, 1 inch isn't going to make a difference if you're looking into infinity.
Yeah.
But we do it anyway. But maybe it comes from looking at a book or something, and a myopic person's going to lean forward. Farsighted person's going to lean back. And that movement of the head has all these ramifications throughout the spine and the whole body.
So then what happens is those muscles get frozen in that position because you're doing it over time and over time. So then that creates a lot of muscle tension, and you sort of get stuck in that posture. And you can imagine if you just pushed your head forward now, you could feel the strain that you've got in your neck. And that's because it's foreign to you, but you can imagine the amount of pressure that's putting on the neck.
Right.
And indeed on the cervical spine in the neck there. So a big thing that we have to work on with our clients is not just the vision, but also their posture. It's amazing how the two, and it takes time. It's taken me a good couple of years to work on my posture.
And I notice that if I'm under more stress, my myopic posture comes back. So
I think a lot of that is my mind. It's almost like, I want to be conscious of leaning forward. I don't have time for this.
Exactly. Yes. You revert back to your 16-year-old habits essentially.
Let me just do this for a couple of days, and then let me just get this work done, and then I'll start thinking about my posture afterwards. But you certainly start feeling a lot better once you do work on that. So then the last point with the body, I mean, really, it's thinking of internally a little bit more. And for starters, we want to talk a little bit about having a healthy heart.
Yeah, a healthy heart, it goes along with the blood flow. And it goes back to the Gerson thing I was talking about, bringing nutrition to the cells. which you have to get the nutrition in, I guess. Let's start with there. You have to, maybe the stomach should be included too.
It's we're going to do nutrition.
True.
Last.
All right. So let's assume there's some nutrition there for the heart to pump around. So the blood has to be pumped to efficiently, and then the veins are really part of this.
Yeah.
Then you have to have clear veins to move the blood through. And then you have to have the lungs providing the oxygen. So you've got nutrition, oxygen going to those cells to keep them alive. And with you and me, we have retinal cells that are compromised.
Yeah.
So you can imagine if you starve something as well as something that's already compromised, you're really threatening it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty scary when you think how simple this is, but how important it is.
Yeah.
Getting enough blood to the eyes. And it's just like, I don't know, let's say you've got a pond or you've got a lake and you've got a weak pump that's pumping the water to the top of the water feature, the fountain.
Yeah. You're talking about this because I'm about to put one in my backyard.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking of. Then, if you've got a weak water pump pumping it up to the top, then less water's going to be trickling down.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah, your feature will be really not very good. Yeah.
And just like any car, if you look at any car advert, they talk about X amount of horsepower and this is the biggest engine we've ever had. I guess unless you get in a Prius. Which is pretty big in San Francisco.
Yeah. Very big.
So maybe size doesn't matter.
No.
But not just size, but we're talking about power here, that, this is sort of the core of our, engine. Anyone that's, I don't know why I'm bringing this up, Iron Man, anyone's into their Marvel comics, where his power source is right there in the middle of his chest.
Right.
And, if his power source is getting weak, then the energy goes, or if it's removed, his energy goes. So it's, it really is the same thing. And by the way, I'm not an avid Marvel fan.
I know that.
I do like, we've gone and seen most of them, haven't we, really?
Right. But I have never seen a comic book in your house, so I can attest to that.
Not that, there's
No, there's something wrong with that.
And my brother-in-law loves Marvel comics,
okay.
and so I do know a lot about it, and I do enjoy hearing about it. But then the third part in this, which people really don't think about, and it's the liver, which I guess is another good thing that you know all about.
Now, after this week, I know all about it, and then how important the liver being the filter. Well, the liver is so many functions.
Is
it's
it
hard.
500 functions?
Something like that, yeah. But the one I was addressing this week was the filtering system and how it gets a buildup of from our poor diet.
Well, and just everyday life. If you think about the air, the water that we drink, this is why I started getting organic soap. Because if you think about the chemicals in the soap, chemicals in toothpaste we're putting in our mouth every day.
Oh, fluoride. Oh, my God. I learned about fluoride
this week.
Let's not even go there.
Let's save that. So, there's all these unconscious chemicals that we're ingesting. And it's not that we're trying to freak everyone out here.
No.
But what we're saying is the liver deals with all of that.
Exactly.
It copes with it.
And actually, if you have a strong liver, and this is the Gerson people were saying this too, you can cope with a lot of environmental stuff that isn't good for us, but the liver will take care of it.
So, and then we throw in a little bit of alcohol, a little bit of cigarette smoking, a little bit of caffeine, and we're overloading the liver. And then the fact that 50% of Americans are on prescription drugs. Our liver is working overtime. Yeah. So, and it really is, like Richard said, our filtering system. So again, if we think back to the pond analogy, if your filter is playing up in the pond, then you're not even going to be able to see the fish, and it's just not going to be a very good water feature. Yeah. So obviously every part of the body is important. We could be talking about the nervous system, the stomach, and all the rest of it, but we really just wanted to highlight those three main organs there that play a real important part that not everybody thinks about as far as vision improvement is concerned.
Right.
Okay, great. So I think it's about a good time to move on to question of the week.
And the question of the week this week comes from a visitor to San Francisco who has just learned about eye exercises, and she's asking basically what's the next step.
And it was really nice for me to be able to say, head over to the website.
That's right. That's the next step. End of podcast, right?
Yeah. Just go to envisionselffeeling.com at the end.
Yeah.
No, and it's not that we're just trying to plug our own website here. It's because when we designed it from a point of both Richard and I first discovered eye exercises. We had to go through this whole thing ourselves. We went to all these different things before we ended up coming to natural vision improvement. We read a lot of other books, and you sort of learn a more direct route that we wish we had gone when we first found out about it. And also now that we're working with our clients now for the last few years, we can see what sort of boosts them ahead. What information could we give them that puts them ahead of the game than if they didn't know about it? So over at the website, we really have given all the fundamental information that people need.
Yeah, and I hate to use the website again, but the learn, create, integrate thing is a good structure for what to do next.
Yeah,
you want to learn about your condition thoroughly as much as you can, and then you want to create a program of exercises that are suited to that condition. So there's lots of eye exercises, and you want to figure out which ones are going to help you the most. And then you want to be realistic about a modern day life. You want to integrate those exercises to a certain degree into your life.
And also what we were talking about with the brain, that when you start, being active with these exercises, and the more you do it on a regular basis, the more permanent it becomes, and more permanent the visual habits become. Just like I've taken that principle to my peripheral vision, and that's why I'm walking around the apartment trying to use my periphery. I did peripheral vacuuming the other day, which was actually very successful. And I was hoovering away, and I was like, whoa, I'm 2 floors up here. I can see the road outside, and I'd never really seen me standing on a floor and seeing the outside at the same time. And seeing the floor there. So it's really sort of integrating these exercises in, and it becomes a permanent. Just like you get permanent bad habits, you can also get permanent good habits.
You've illustrated it perfectly. I mean, you've learned about your condition over many years now.
And it's exactly the same. I didn't go to the Natural Vision Improvement University and study there for 15 years. I do have a sports science degree, but as far as a lot of this work goes, it's taking these key principles. So one other thing that I really liked suggesting was all our podcasts. If you're just coming into this podcast, then it's not like we go in a linear fashion where if you go back, you won't learn anything. It's only what we're going to talk about next. We really talk about our own programs, our own lives, our own exercises, and because she had RP or has RP as well. It's nice to know that whenever I've talked about it, it's been from a very honest point of view, and also from a discovery. So I could imagine if someone goes back and listens to them, they almost learn what I've learned over the last 32 weeks. And the same with yourself. They probably learn more how to build a house if they listen to your podcast. So, and also our video blogs as well. We really try and pick key things that our clients are struggling with, things that we're struggling with, things that we just wish that we knew when we first started doing the exercises. And then we do a video blog about it. So there's certainly a lot of information there on the website for people just to go to. And then I think the next thing is just to try and chill out a little bit and not get overwhelmed, because it really is an ocean of information out there. And
the worst case scenario, we don't want them to go, oh, this is what I have to do. Oh, I can't do that. So I'm giving in to my condition, basically.
So one thing, maybe just find your condition on the conditions page. Start looking at the eye exercises first and foremost. And then maybe when you're palming, listen to the podcasts.
Good.
Maybe do shifting on the videos. I don't know, not too much.
Shifting on the videos? That's quite an integration, yes.
So, just take it as it comes. It's new. For a lot of us, our whole lives, we've been told nothing can be done. So when somebody goes, yeah, you can do this, it's very difficult for us to transition that. Yeah,
and I think you illustrate very well this week, the attitude one could take, a lighthearted attitude like, oh, I've just discovered room decoration. I mean, that's taking eye exercises into a fun integrated and lighthearted way. That's, I think, a good example of that.
And that goes into instead of doing eye exercises for, say, a month and then running to the eye doctor to get a test,
right,
and then find out that it's the same,
right.
We did quite a bit on vision observation,
right,
positive observing our vision improvement in a positive way, and to know that there's more out there than just what the doctor is telling you,
right,
and there really is no better judge of whether your vision is improving or not than yourself.
Right. And that's true what you're doing as well, that you're being the judge of what your periphery is. Yeah. Good.
Okay, great. Well, we hope you enjoyed this week's podcast. If you want to find out some more information on how you can improve your eyesight, then please head over to our website at envisionselfhealing.com. You can also find some more information on our Facebook fan page. To search for Envision Self Healing, and you'll see some pictures and information that we're posting up there. And you could also follow Richard and I on Twitter, and just head over to the website and you'll see our addresses there. You can also get your hands on a free ebook on our website, and just download that over there for free. It's called A Modern Day Guide for Improving Eyesight, and it really goes through some basic information on how your modern day life could actually be impairing your vision, and indeed how you can start improving your eyesight. So good luck with your eye exercises this week, and happy healing.
And have a good week.